Breaking news, the Tennessee Titans are making headlines as Week 1 of the NFL season arrives. All eyes are now locked on their new quarterback, the number 1 overall pick in the draft, Cam Ward. This is the moment Titans fans have been waiting for, and the football world can't stop talking about it. But what makes Ward so unique, and why is his journey capturing so much attention right now? Let's dive in. The Titans open the season against the Denver Broncos this Sunday, but the spotlight is shining directly on rookie quarterback Cam Ward. For many fans, this is the first real chance to hear his story, a journey that hasn't been as widely shared as some might think. In a recent sit-down with CBS, Ward reflected on his path to the NFL, and it reveals just how much he's had to adapt along the way. From his early high school days, where patience was the key lesson, to his time with the Miami Hurricanes, where he learned resilience and focus, every stop shaped him differently. At Incarnate Word, Ward developed his gunslinger mentality, letting it fly and showcasing his natural arm talent. Washington State pushed him even further, teaching him the importance of being open-minded, becoming a true leader, and understanding the dynamics of a team. Backhand index pointing right. But before we get into the latest Titans updates, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and don't forget to turn on the bell icon, so you never miss breaking NFL news. Now, let's get back to it. The truth is, Ward's constant movement, through different schools, systems, and offenses, may actually be one of his biggest strengths. Unlike many young quarterbacks, he's already used to adapting quickly, learning new playbooks, and adjusting to new environments. And now, standing at the doorstep of his NFL debut, Ward says everything has finally come together. He doesn't just see himself as a playmaker, he sees himself as a leader, someone who understands the weight of the quarterback position and the responsibility that comes with it. For Titans fans, the excitement is real. Week 1 isn't just about the matchup against Denver. It's about watching the beginning of what could be a new era in Tennessee football, led by Cam Ward. When Cam Ward talks about leadership, it isn't just about calling plays on the field. It's about understanding the people around him, from teammates to the staff who make the team function every single day. Before he ever stepped into a new program, Ward wanted to know everything: who's the janitor? Who serves the meals? Who tapes the ankles and makes sure the players are ready to go? He believed that if he was going to lead, he had to first respect everyone around him. That mindset isn't common. It shows a rare awareness, almost instinctive. Some might say leadership is something you're born with, but for Ward, it's also something he's practiced, learning people's names, making connections, and treating everyone with the same level of respect. Listening to him, you can't help but be reminded of the late Steve McNair. The tone of his voice, the calm confidence, the way he explains things without flash but with authenticity, it feels familiar. Just like McNair, Ward doesn't need to shout to prove himself. He carries himself with a quiet authority. Everywhere he's been, he's made it a point to build relationships. He believes that if you see someone every single day, you should know their name, and they should know yours. It's a small detail, but for him, it's a matter of respect. Now, with the Tennessee Titans, the challenge is even bigger. Ward isn't just joining a team, he's stepping into a locker room full of grown men who already know what it takes to compete at the highest level. But instead of forcing leadership, he's approaching it the same way he always has, by building trust, learning about his teammates, and connecting beyond the practice field. Head coach Brian Callahan has pushed the team to spend more time together outside the building, and that's only made things better. The atmosphere feels less like a job and more like a brotherhood. For Ward, that's the perfect environment, because leadership, in his eyes, starts with relationships. One of the most surprising things about Cam Ward is how naturally he connects with veteran players. On paper, you'd expect there to be a gap. Guys like Calvin Ridley or Tyler Lockett are seasoned pros, many with families and years of experience in the league. Ward, fresh out of college, could easily be seen as just a kid to them. But somehow, he's bridged that gap. Inside the locker room and on the practice field, Ward carries himself like he belongs. He jokes with the vets, talks trash on the field, and listens closely when they share stories from their early years in the NFL. That willingness to learn, to take advice before experiencing the same struggles, shows maturity beyond his age. And with his natural leadership, he's helping bring together a locker room full of different personalities under one common goal, winning. What makes it even more impressive is the journey that brought him here. Ward wasn't a five-star recruit everyone knew about. He wasn't a household name at Incarnate Word, or even when he later played at Washington State and Miami. But through it all, he never lost sight of the dream. Being the number 1 overall pick in the NFL draft wasn't just a fantasy, for him, it was always within reach. And when the moment finally came to prove it, he didn't hesitate. At his pro day, in front of Titans scouts and coaches, Ward made it clear. As he finished his workout, he sprinted past the Titans brass and told them directly, "I'm locking this down today." That's the competitor in him, fearless, confident, and willing to back up every word with action. What most people don't know is that before that day, Ward had been quietly preparing, pushing himself harder than ever. Social media hype wasn't his style, he wanted to show it face to face. And when the opportunity came, he seized it. That boldness, that hunger to compete, is exactly why Tennessee believed he was their future. Cam Ward never needed Twitter to make his case. While some prospects were campaigning online, Ward decided he would do his talking on the field. At his pro day, he wasn't just throwing passes, he was sending a message, "I don't need to tweet it. I'll prove it right here, in person." That's not arrogance. That's dog mentality. And make no mistake, Ward has noticed the conversations around him. He may not be a social media guy, but he hears what's being said. The analysts questioning his quiet demeanor. The pundits asking if he's the most overlooked number 1 overall pick in years. He sees it all, and he takes it personally. From Mel Kiper to Stephen A. Smith, Ward knows who doubted him, who called him too quiet, who said he didn't command enough attention. But here's the twist, in Nashville, he hasn't stopped talking. Not about himself, but about football. Every interview, every interaction, he shows how locked in he is. For him, the game is the only conversation that matters. That chip on his shoulder fuels everything he does. Whether it's practice reps or a game under the lights, Ward competes with the same fire. It doesn't matter if Coach Callahan calls for 10 passes or 40, Ward approaches every snap like it's his chance to prove something. From the moment his name was called on draft night, everything shifted. Walking across that stage wasn't the finish line, it was the starting point. Since then, it's been all work, learning from Coach Callahan, building chemistry with teammates, and embracing the reality of being the face of a franchise. Ward isn't here to bask in the spotlight. He's here to win. And every bit of doubt, every overlooked headline, is becoming fuel for what comes next. For Cam Ward, hearing his name called on draft night was surreal, but the celebration didn't last long. The moment he arrived in Tennessee, it was straight to work. Surrounded by some of the sharpest offensive minds in football, Ward has been pushed daily to sharpen every detail of his game. What stands out most isn't just their teaching, but their trust. Even when a mistake is his, the coaches take the blame, showing Ward they're all in this together. That kind of loyalty has only deepened his commitment to them, and to the Titans. What excites Ward the most is the feedback he now receives at the pro level. In college, the focus was often broad. Here, it's about the smallest details, footwork, timing, reads, and precision. Those constant adjustments are what he believes will elevate him beyond just being talented, into becoming great. Of course, every quarterback faces the same challenge, staying level-headed. There are going to be highs and lows, big wins and tough losses. For Ward, that steadiness didn't come overnight, it came through experience. From his high school battles to tough stretches at Washington State and Miami, he's learned what it means to lose, to struggle, and to bounce back stronger. Ward doesn't hide from failure, he embraces the lessons it brings. He knows bad days are inevitable, whether it's in practice, a scrimmage, or even under the bright lights of Sunday. But he also knows the bounce back is what defines a quarterback. Last year, he admits, there wasn't enough of that. This year, he's determined to change it. Every rep, every mistake, every correction, it's all part of building something bigger. And for Cam Ward, the mission is clear: keep growing, keep learning, and never let one bad day define the journey. Life as a quarterback is never steady. You can't ride too high after a big play, and you can't sink too low after a mistake, because everyone's watching how you respond. Cam Ward knows that reality well. He's the first to admit that as a rookie, there will be rough games and great ones. But thanks to the lessons from his parents and the battles he fought in high school and college, he feels prepared for whatever comes. What encourages his coaches and teammates most is how quickly he bounces back. When Ward has a bad rep in practice, the very next snap he usually nails it. That resilience has already shown up under the lights, too. Take the preseason matchup against Tampa Bay. The first drive was ugly, a couple of misfires, a quick 3-and-out. But the next possession, Ward came out firing, connecting with Calvin Ridley and leading the Titans down the field for a touchdown. That's the kind of response to adversity that separates quarterbacks who fade from quarterbacks who rise. And then there are those "welcome to the NFL" moments. For Ward, it wasn't a big hit or a sack, it was realizing just how fast defenders really are at this level. In practice, he threw what looked like a safe deep ball, only to watch a safety nearly cover ground from one sideline to the other. Plays like that force him to adjust, learning how much air to put under the ball, when to zip it, and when to take something off. Each rep is a lesson in just how razor-thin the margin is in the NFL. But now, the real test is here. Week 1. On the road. Denver. Ward knows the boos will be loud, the pressure even louder. Yet for him, this is the dream, running out of that tunnel, leading the Tennessee Titans as their starting quarterback, and proving he belongs. The journey has been long, but the story is just beginning. Cam Ward doesn't shy away from pressure, in fact, he welcomes it. When asked about opening the season in Denver, he didn't hesitate. If it were up to him, he'd play every single game on the road. That's not just confidence, that's swagger. The kind of mentality that gives you goosebumps when you hear it. Ward thrives on walking into hostile territory, hearing the boos, and turning that energy into fuel. For him, this isn't just another game. It's the moment he's been waiting for since he was 6 years old. When that opening kickoff sails through the air, he's ready to show the world exactly who he is. And here's the thing, when was the last time the Titans had a quarterback like this? Steve McNair had quiet confidence, Vince Young kept to himself, Jake Locker was reserved, Marcus Mariota was humble to a fault, and Ryan Tannehill was all business. Solid leaders, yes, but none of them carried this kind of edge. Ward is different. He's bold enough to say what most quarterbacks wouldn't dare: put me on the road, let the crowd boo, I don't care. I'll play anywhere, anytime. He's the guy who saw another prospect campaign to be the top pick on Twitter, and instead of firing back online, Ward let his play do the talking, proving it face to face on the field. For Titans fans, it's hard not to get excited. This is a new kind of energy, a new kind of leader, a quarterback who believes he was built for the moment. The only question now is whether his play matches the fire in his words. And that's what makes Week 1 so captivating, because if Cam Ward truly is who he says he is, the NFL is about to find out fast.